Me. Alright, excuse me. Welcome back to Arifureta Anime Review, episode number 28. We're reviewing the 34th episode series, Grab Hold of Hope, which that's also the name of the third chapter of book number 8. And this episode picks up left off last episode, basically kind of in a way, like toward the end of basically 243, which last episode left off with, and it stopped roughly at the end of page 298. So we have roughly about 55 pages, basically adapted that much of the book. And you think, okay, how much is left to go adapt for the book? If you're really curious of how much is left to be adapted, it is that much right there, which is basically the equivalent of like what they would adapt for like one episode. But here's what happens. Hajime and you hate each other, and it's easily figured out. By the way, they cut the bit out here of basically Hajime hating Shia for her bunny ears, which that was expunged from the episode because I think the writers must have realized, though, yeah, that's kind of enough for him to say. Just like basically, probably him basically hating you, but don't hate Shia because she is the poster girl for this season. So don't hate the poster girl. Because that's the interesting thing about the series, because she's literally the character who's getting most development. That was probably a studio thing doing that. That's probably, I don't know, I don't think that was the creator's idea to cut that line out. I think that was the studio doing that because basically they know that she's going to get a lot of focus this season, so. Excuse me. So, my guess is somebody must have hired up in the team, must have been told, hey, cut this line because we're not having our poster girl getting insulted this episode by the guy she loves in the story. Which, yeah, and then of course they do a little cockroaches thing, which form the grasshoppers, so I think they're cute, and this big humongous action sequence basically ensues, where Hajime and you are basically shooting these things, Hajime using his guns, you using basically her hand beams. For them, basically, that's literally what they do. And of course, they have, eventually it's wearing off for them. And it turns out the reason why they're acting this way is because their emotions are flipped, where they hate each other and they love the bugs. Apparently, the only person people were not affected by this, and this is kind of interesting, these people here are not affected by, the only people not affected by it is, surprisingly, Shizu. She's not really affected by it, which is interesting. Yeah, she's not affected along with the other three. They are surprisingly not affected by this. My guess is because basically their bond's not strong with the other ones. I'm surprised Shizu basically wasn't affected by it. Tio was kind of affected by it, but not really. She seemed pretty rational the whole episode. Which, yeah, she's like that in the book too. Give everybody good orders. Basically, Shizu and Kaori, where they're basically like back to back shooting all the bugs, and you have Shia doing from the top, and Tio telling basically the girl who's a bear mage do her job, and well they throughout the whole, and eventually they find away with the source of all these freaking bugs, and then part of the tree opens up. And unleashes roots, and everybody climbs up. Like, oh, is this the final level? And, like, seeing the sea here with this open air, even though they're kind of like, I think they describe it as, like, on top of the tree, which is interesting. And we see a house, which I'm like, I'm getting deja vu here with this, basically, this particular end of the labyrinth, where it's basically a house. Which has also happened with the very first labyrinth explored in the very first story arc of the series, which in the anime took up basically 5 episodes, which in the books, it was just the open book of the series. They don't go inside. Now, for some reason, the exterior kind of looks like the White House. Yeah, I don't get why they designed it that way for. It's like, I guess they probably didn't have reference what this building's supposed to look like. This book didn't really describe it at all. So I guess they figured out, we need a white-looking house. So let's kind of base upon the White House for some reason. Yes. And then they go like, it looks like this bridge, and then we see another tree, and of course thing opens up. Now, in the book, they don't say basically what species this woman is at all. Who basically, her name is Lila Hisaurus, who is part of the Liberators, and like teaches like with a spell, and she's an elf. Which, fun fact, the book does not say what her species is. The book at all. Yeah, this is interesting because this is another thing they probably made for this episode because I don't know if in fact this one was now in this book in particular. In this very book, when they see her, say, "Oh, she's like a princess." Kind of, she is, and she is from Freya Zero. Yes, she is, but no one points out the fact this woman is an elf. No one says anything about that at all. The book doesn't say anything about it at all. And if you're curious, is this woman Freya Zero? As a matter of fact, one of the covers has her on. Right back. Whew. Where is she? There she is. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, this is the woman we see in this very episode. Yes, this very woman. Who is, in fact, an elf. Which, this is something quite interesting for this series because this might be, a fantasy series, and it's an isekai. Because we had so far, we had a dragon, we had rabbit beastman, obviously. We have demons. Surprisingly, no elves and no dwarfs. Which, at least we feature an elf per se, except that there's no mention of elves in the series. None. Which is kind of weird. The fact that you had this whole series, and wait, excuse me, brothers. And by the way, her name is Latias Hentina. That's basically what her name is, and that's her name in the episode. Which kind of makes her, in a way, the first person of the Liberators, who is people from Freya Zero, one of the stars of the series, to make an appearance in the main series. Though she's appearing here as an illusion of the tree, because she's been dead for years. And those of you curious, did she appear in that crossover with Freya Zero in the OVA? No, she didn't. I don't remember her appearing there for some reason. Yeah, they didn't show her in the episode. It is quite interesting that they went with the look from the cover. It's like the animators probably, maybe they suspected basically that, we know who it is. So maybe they took this cover because, if you're curious, does she wear this outfit in the episode? She does. Yeah, she is definitely an elf. Of course, the series doesn't say she's an elf, but the book itself doesn't say she's an elf. Like, unless you read a Freya Zero, you probably have no idea who the heck this woman is. Obviously. And I think it's implied she's like a distant relative of Shia's, but it's not really delved into. And of course, they basically, the episode ends with her going to be teaching them some magic. Interesting to say the least. Yep. But in case you're curious, though, how many more episodes have to go for of Freya Season 3? There is exactly... Okay, it's not 3 episodes left to go, surprisingly. No. If you're really curious, there's exactly 8 more to go. Yep, 8 more. So, there's a strong possibility we might get adaptation book 9. And I did check how many more pages we have to go for this book. We have... Let's see. Because I'm sure they're going to adapt the epilogue. I'm sure about that. Let's see. So actually it's about that much. So let's see. 98. Let's see. How many more pages left to go for this book? let's answer this question. What page did they go for this book? Let's see. There is exactly 72 pages left to go for the whole book. Yep, 72 pages to be adapted. So, based upon that, we probably have, and this is my best estimation, is that this book will be finished up. Now, this is technically the 8th episode of the season. So, my guess is that by the 10th episode of the season, that'll wrap up this book and presumably start book 9. I'm guessing. I'm hoping you'll skip the epilogue because the epilogue is important. It is. So, that's probably what's going to happen next episode. It's a distinct possibility, but do I think that up all 72 pages next episode? I don't know. It's a distinct possibility, but it depends upon what the studio wants to do. Could it have next episode? Is possible. But I could easily see book 9 be adapted either with episode 10 or 11. Who knows? We'll find out basically when the time comes. Yep. So yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Well, next up we have is the Comic Corner. And then it's back to Peter Grell for the last 4 episodes of the season. Yep. Thanks, you. Bye.